Kenya is the place that you let your work and your art and your brand and your talent speak for yourself. No, you get your work and you shove it down people's throats.
Akaniambia amegundua magic. Kariaria, so kulikuwa na mti. Kuna
ukisikianga hivyo unajua, hapa unaoshwa, lazima uone dust, Mchezo wa town ndio unapangwa. Ati niko na magic. We always hear it more often than not. 90% of businesses will actually fail, but no one tells us why. So on today's video, we are about to figure that out. So remember to like and subscribe to the channel. If this video makes you feel some type of way, you can always join the membership on this channel by clicking the join button down below. Other than that, you can also join our email list, link down in the description, where you are always given motivations on how you can deal with life. 4 messages every month. Other than that, let's dive into this uncomfortable truth. This karibu niseme uncomfortable. Uncomfortable truth as to why most people create businesses that last and others just create something and a little bit down the road it crumbles.
Have you ever seen two people ama mnafanya biashara the same but someone else is making a killing, anatengeneza pesa na ni the same thing mnafanya, same thing, one product mnauza, same market, same nini, na mtu mmoja anatengeneza pesa kuliko mtu mwingine? There's a very interesting variable nime notice and I want to talk about that for a bit. My mom told me a very interesting story and I'll tie it to another story that relates to this, and that describes the nature of the Kenyan business environment. So my mom tells me, mnajua, wale wasionanijua najua, nime grow up in Embu and
I mean most often than not, people will actually go into a business because they have seen other people it works for them. Other than that, sidhani kuna kwa na reason nyingine watu wengi wanaingianga biz, or somebody gave you a motivation that busy na jipa, so you decided to get into it. There's always some form of incentive before you get into a certain situation, and that incentive is usually driven by the feedback you get in your environment. True or false?
In Embu, my mom used to sell hizo night dresses at some point to supplement income yake. Night dresses na blouse za madem hapo kwa market. But kwa hii kusell night dresses na blouse, one of her colleagues, watu wanauza nao kwa soko, mara kidogo ameenda amenunua shamba. Kidogo ndio ameanza kujenga, unaona anapandisha keja yake, na mnafanya the same thing. Mnafanya the same business. Mashindwa hapana bana. Ni sisi tunauza hii kitu vibaya. There is something we don't know. They later come to learn that rafiki yao kumbe ameshajua access ya game kwa bank. So now ashajua kucheza na statement at that time, ashajua kuboro ana nini. So nyinyi mna compete na yeye ati hii pesa yako yenye unapata ndio unataka ku maintain ujitengeneze nayo, lakini yeye anacheza game tofauti. So when they later come to learn that, nikaangalia story and then it ties to story flani nilipigia Mwafrika.
Wallahi tena ni ukweli. Most people out here are so afraid of getting loans, so afraid of kupata taxes, na it's only because of the stigma yenye iko around those situations. Unaonanga at times you might get into a loan, then una realize god damn, uliona mtu akichotwa juu ya loan, unajiambia wacha nitumie my own income to develop myself. Then when you compare yourself to your environment, you question and wonder, why are these other people moving at a faster pace than you are actually moving? Na ndio kitu moja inafanyanga watu wanaingia pia into depression. But if you know what you are doing and you understand whatever they are doing without judging yourself too harshly, you're going to live a good life. Other than that, tuendelee
kwa Iko Nini podcast, but that story fascinates me today, and that ili teaching kitu moja in life. Ukiona mtu anafanya kitu ama ameomoka, usirukie kitu ukifikiria ati that formula works for you. No. So this story is very simple. Quick one. I have a cousin, same age, I think age difference yetu hata ni a few hours. So tuko tunashinda pamoja, tunacheza naye kila siku. So one Saturday morning, I'll never forget this day, maisha yangu yote. One Saturday morning, anakam kuni pick home around 4 asubuhi. Akaniambia amegundua magic. Kariaria, so kulikuwa na mti, kuna
ukisikianga hivyo unajua hapa unaoshwa, lazima uone dust Mchezo wa town ndio unapangwa. Ati niko na magic brings you money. Aya god damn, umsako cooked Kingori.
Mti Embu inaitwa Kariaria. It's I don't know its name in English, but ni mti yenye the maji yenye inatoka ukiigonga inatoka white milky white liquid yenye can be used for sticking substances like natural glue. We used to make the white substance. We used to use the white substance kutengeneza kites. But on this particular day my cousin comes ananiambia amegundua magic. Ati tukaenda akigonga Kariaria unaokota pesa. So now tukaenda and I saw that, I witnessed it. Anachukua mawe akigonga Kariaria ikitoka maziwa anaokota 10 bob. Akihata ukoti kitu. Akirusha agonge tena itoke maziwa anaokota 20 bob. Akirusha tena anaokota 30 bob. So when I come
acha mbona arushe, si uende tu towards the trunk enda usimame if it is actually the money tree, the real money tree. Simama hapo hivyo igonge utuone ikidondoa pesa bana. Mbona unasimama mbali tunarusha mawe God damn.
Nikaangalia what happened, nimewitness nikaona wadau hiyo siku nilipiga Kariaria. Nilipiga Kariaria na mawe mpaka jioni. Walai sikuokota kitu. Hata shilingi moja. Nilipiga hiyo mti yake ya nani usiku. And I later come to learn. The game my cousin alinichezea ni very simple. Alikuwa anajua mimi ushinda na yeye. Na hiyo siku alikuwa amefinesse mama yake pesa fulani. She had stolen some money. Na she needed a witness. She needed an alibi. Akishikwa, I would defend her to the last minute. Akishikwa, yani I saw the magic happening. Pesa yake ilitoka hapa na niliona. Hata kama mimi sikupata niliona. Alikuwa she had a witness. Sijaichezwa hivyo na mind you this time tuko around 7 or 8 years old. Wherever my cousin came from na hiyo idea, I don't know how she did it, but that was my first introduction to money laundering. Now the moral of that story was, ukiona mtu anatengeneza pesa, kitu isikudanganye ati sasa wewe unataka kurukia kwa sababu umeona ina work. Niyo hiyo. Of course there are other variables, and that's why nimekaa kuona my friend namuitanga senior counsel.
Yes, of course there are other variables when it comes to the way people actually make money. Kuna kitu moja inaitagwa confidence. Na hii confidence inakoga reflected na venye mtu ana price vitu zake. So if somebody gives out good services, then at the end of the day you realize they are charging you very little amount of money, then you know that this person's self-esteem iko chini and their probability of making a big buck, making good money ina reduce. And on the other side there are people who are even more confident that they have tutaziita nini, they have evidence of their business working. So by doing that they price themselves at a higher point because they know what they are actually going to give you. And when you interact with those forms of people, you realize that service experience yako as a customer, it is always top notch inakuwaga unrivaled in comparison to this other person mwenye haji value completely to their value. They are always fidgeting and trying to be resourceful in order to go around certain curbs. It all begins in the mind. Unaona hapo hivyo venye Kingori amechezewa akili yake when they were young. Imagine wako 7-8 years old and she's trying to play with his mind kwa sababu anajua kuna do nimepata hii base fulani, you are going to act as my witness. Hapa ndio kwa lilitoa do. And hii story yote imefanya pia nikafikiria, even when you get into this business situation, it is not only people doing money laundering kuna this other side yenye wase wenye pia wana compete nao, wana compete na wewe game mbaya. You realize that you start a business but somebody just wants to take the things that you have. Umefungua bizi yako, umefunga usiku vizuri, then mtu mwingine anakuja anafungua milango anachukua vitu zako, na in a few days una realize down the streets kuna hoka mahali ameamua stoko yako ndio anaanza nayo biashara. Kumbe alikuingia around. In short, what I'm trying to say there are people who they want to leech on other people in order to sustain themselves. And when they do this leeching, they now start breaking the law around history yote ya business. You realize there is unfair competition. Na hii unfair competition, especially when it is out of the books, inakwaga terrible manze for business. Unaweza pata mtu hadi ana lose their mind. Trust you me, I've been there. Hakuna haja tuendelee kubonga sana. Those are some variables I've thought of I can input hapo hivyo ndio pia ikuokolee na pia niokolee. Let's continue.
This is mimi namuita hivyo sijui but he's a lawyer legit. I like how he thinks on his feet. That's why I ambush him with interesting concepts. My friend Wakili Otieno Mokaya, senior counsel. Senior counsel. Kenya, it is my submission that the business environment can be misleading.
Yeah.
Unaweza ona biashara na kwanza kuna story ya matatu hiyo tutaacha for another video. Unajiambia hii biashara inaendelea kugrow. Watu bado wanatengeneza pesa. Lakini wewe ukijaribu shauri yako. What's going on there?
In marketing, people don't buy products. People buy stories.
Yes.
So which story are you telling your client? That's why you could find in a stretch of let's say vibandas, everybody akona hoteli, but kuna kibanda moja ina work, zingine zote zina struggle. Just like hata club, unaweza pata stretch moja kuna club mingi, but kuna club moja ndio ina work.
Yes.
So you might be selling the same thing, but not different stories. We talked about all phones are manufactured in China.
Yes.
Even iPhones are manufactured in China. But Tecno is the only Chinese phone. Why is iPhone not a Chinese brand?
And people treat them differently. Zinatoka kwa same country, probably the same factories.
Yes. Another thing, iPhone does not sell spec.
Think about it. When in the morning, very early in the morning, when you think of getting your bread or going to that person who sells mandazis to you, do you go there because it is just a mandazi? Or is there a story around it? And by the story can be composed of very many different things. For instance, you might like the way their hotel is composed. Maybe they have a theme. Maybe they have some form of ideology that they have written on their walls. There's a way that they package their things. You see, all that sums up into becoming a form of a story. Yeah, sindio? I think hiyo pia ndio story, other than this other emotional story where they are telling you that when you own this something, you are owning a thing of status. Stories may range in very many different ways. Kunaweza kuwa na story ya siku yenye niliendaga hapa hivi, now this is your personal story. Niliendaga hapa hivi nikashughulika hapa kule, I interacted with this business, then all of a sudden my life started changing its trajectory. Hapo hivyo naweza kwa pia naongelea story ya kibandaski. Mse ulishift kibandaski ukarealize mangori zangu manze za kuenda haja long call kwenda choo manze zimepungua. Why? Because you engaged with a different environment, and the environment tells the story. Kuna kitu yenye tulikuwa tunaambiwa ni setting ina settingi mtu up ndio ajue kama ata interact na business yako. Lazima setting ikuwe fiti. So setting is also part of the story.
If you see the camera of an iPhone, it's a 48 megapixels. Like if you put a spreadsheet, compare iPhone with other phones, iPhone will come last in terms of on the table. But iPhone sells a different story.
True.
And that's why iPhones will always be bought, even when they're lag behind in some features. So they're selling phones, but iPhone sells a different story.
Okay.
Look at a keynote address by, let's say, Tim Cook. He'll never compare the phones with other phones. You'll hear Jim Cook say, this is the big Tim Cook. Yes. Same as Steve Jobs, same magic. Tim Cook will say, this is the biggest camera on an iPhone. Not on any phone. So they have closed their markets and they're telling their story, blinding every other story as well. Same thing, you might be selling mandazi in the street, the other guy is selling mandazi
Kwa
supermarket. This guy is selling mandazi. And it could be better.
It could be better.
A poor story. The guy selling mandazi at Kempinski is telling a rich story. He could buy from you.
True.
Take it to Kempinski and sell it. It's presidential mandazi.
Very
You are
true.
selling mandazi. So which story are you selling?
So pesa iko kwa product.
No.
Pesa is in the story.
This shirt will be in the same, this shirt you're buying right now could be sourced from some places you can't go to. But when you're buying it from...
hiyo story ya shirt manzi imefanya nifikirie. So I bought this sweater at H&M, but it was so crazy that nikienda kuangalia in other places unapata shish, this is the same sweater that I bought in a certain boutique na nimeipata in another area yenye iko more affordable than the boutique. So kwa ile boutique I was just buying the experience, the convenience. Hizo vitu zote manze zina play a very huge role in telling your story kama una run a certain business. And I usually sikuwa naitilia maanani previously on my other business kwenye nilikuwa nimeanza hiyo story ya entertainment, because I realized that when you are selecting a place to kuweka event yako ya sherehe na nini, you need to also think of your client wako ni mtu anakaa aje. So if the location does not match your client, chances of your client showing up are minimal, but if you select a very good location and tell your story in a certain way such that this person feels like they belong in a certain environment, then why not? Trust you me, this person is going to come. They are going to even refer other people to your businesses. I mean, the better you tell your story, the easier the referrals becomes. Sindio?
Your favorite vendor.
Yes.
It's the vendor story you're buying, not the shirt. I'll bring you the same shirt in Kibera at the factory where it's sourced from. You won't buy because that's not the story you want to buy. And that speaks to marketing 101.
Now, very interesting submissions. Asante Senior Counsel.
Yeah.
Now, nimefanya video. The video that comes before this one, nilikuwa Nakuru jana, and it was fascinating kusikiza story ya what happened to remote jobs in this country. But I've come to learn that kuna information nilikuwa nimemiss. But kwa sababu pia nimekam kulearn, there's also another variable ya gatekeeping. Now, we would like to address that. Ya hiyo story ya jobs za remote task. Also, I've come to believe that Kenya, if this country was not called Kenya, ingekuwa inaitwa UG, Union of Gatekeepers. Watch out for our next video. We are addressing that right next after this video na Senior Counsel Otieno Mokaya.
Walai, there's a lot of gatekeeping when it comes to business. Me, the first time I encountered gatekeeping, and it is something that I've had a conversation with my cousin about, and also some of my friends. Gatekeeping ni crazy. Uko na mweri wako, you are with your friend chilling, then you tell them, hey, goddamn bro, I like your sweater, I like your pants, I like this shoe that you have. Where did you get it and how can I get my hands on it? Then all of a sudden they flip the script on you. Wanakwambia ni aje? Cheki, nipatie ido fulani, give me some certain amount of money and I am going to get you this product. Kumbe, in that certain amount of money, kukona some form of inaitwa aje, akona incentive yake hapo hivyo. That's why they are using that route. So most people hadi kwa biashara yenye mna deal nayo na watu, they will not tell you that they find their products from in a cheaper place such that whenever they come now and sell this product or product ni either service ama good, they make more profits in comparison to you. Wewe unajua ule wholesaler wako mmoja mwenye anakuzianga at a capped price, then mwingine anakanga hivi anajua inaweza ingia mashimo msee, and when they do that they actually go and get the same things that you have at a cheaper price. Ukikuja mwanze kucompete, unaanza kujikuna kichwa. Gatekeeping, na ukimuuliza akwambii rada ni gani. Other than that, there's this other video yenye ilifanya ni realize imtaa lazima pia wewe uweze kujituma. You must shove your product, shove your thing down people's throat. Ebu listen to Extian.
Kenya is not the place that you let your work and your art and your brand and your talent speak for yourself. No, you get your work and you shove it down people's throats until they accept who you are. Kenya is a brutal place. It is a warfare. This is a battlefield.
Very true. Kenya is a battlefield when it comes to well, if you want to get recognition, if you want to get your business running, you actually need to figure out a way as to how you are going to compete with other people and shove your information down their throats. And how do you do this? Do this by consistency, by always showing up. I mean, the people who actually get successful in this life are the people who show up each and every day in life, with values, with consistency, and with intent. YouTube thinks you might be interested in the video on your screen at the moment. Click on that video. I'm waiting to see you on the next one.